So we'll go ahead on and get started with our bylaws subcommittee meeting for today. Was there anywhere that we needed to pick up on from last time?
I made a few
Or
notes.
any new ideas?
No new ideas, but I can wait if we want to go through. So on Article 2, did you ever figure out we were going to put manager or not?
Did we find out about that?
Unfortunately, Scott did not get a chance to.
Okay.
So
That's fine.
I'll have to ask the acting chief.
I think it's okay not to. She hasn't been involved with coming to our meetings.
Right.
Yes, she has actually. Ms. Curry has been to our meetings.
I've been to every meeting. I don't remember her showing up.
She has sat right there in that blue chair, the third blue chair.
Yeah, she was here last.
She was at the last meeting, and also she's been here to other meetings, yes ma'am.
Okay, but she doesn't have input. I haven't heard her speak.
No, because she leaves that at the discretion of the chief.
Well, okay, so it's just,
Sheila, I'm not in this. This is y'all's say. Don't.
right.
I'm not here to
So,
argue.
well, you did talk. I'm not arguing. I feel like your emails to me that you are thinking that I am, like about the photos. That wasn't my intent then. I really am not an argumentative person. This is like simple. I just wanted to know on 2 if we're gonna put manager. I don't
So-
care.
My train of thought was that the manager is in their chain of command. He goes, chief, manager, city commission. The city, any recommendations that we make will get sent to the city commission and then back down hill. And so in my opinion, it just doesn't make sense to not add the manager in there.
Yeah.
You put it in there, and this will go to her first, right, before it goes to the commission.
Correct.
So if she feels differently, she can say, I don't know if I should be in there.
Right. And anything that's implemented is obviously gonna go through, you know.
Well, she's the only one that can direct the police department.
Correct.
So that's Article 2, where we added Chief of Police in Gainesville City Commission. So
that's in
should that say
several
manager
places.
also? Yeah, that was my only question about that.
So,
Read, if you like, I can do the same thing and do track changes and just add that throughout the document.
okay.
I mean, because manager's been taken out of 3C also.
Right, it would be added back there.
Yes. So, just for a blanket statement, my recommendation would be that in all points of reference to the city leadership, the manager should be placed in there.
Okay, I'm good with that.
So,
Let's see, it's on I, so I'll just pop those in.
yeah, I'm sure it's probably in here 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, manager's been, well, member appointment is by the city commission, not the manager, so don't change 6.3.
No.
Right.
So I was looking at 6.2, legal residence. Sorry, I went through this a lot before the first time we went over. I see the changes have been made. Who own real property or who are represented businesses. What is legal residence? Like I'm,
So anyone within the city limits?
so it doesn't preclude non-citizens.
Right, but, and so,
Yeah, legal, why is legal there instead of just resident?
because there's,
I would think people could own multiple properties.
right, you can kind of
Multiple
twist your
states.
residence.
Yeah. So you might be the legal resident in Valdosta, Georgia, but have a house in Gainesville, Florida, but your legal residence is in Valdosta, it's not in Georgia.
Okay.
It's not in Florida, that's my guess.
Or your
Like my
residence
next
for-
door neighbor.
Your residence at the time of applying could be Holiday Inn. But that's not your legal residence, that's your temporary residence.
Right.
So,
it doesn't preclude like an undocumented person, legal meaning it's where you vote and stuff, or, and
yeah,
so.
where the mail goes.
Who owns real property? That's so
If you own real property, I own real property. So, we could be members.
so legal, I get that. My next door neighbors, their primary home's in Jacksonville, so they couldn't be on, but they do own property in Gainesville.
But they haven't taken residency.
Okay.
So they could, I think. So
So-
you could be a legal resident, or you could own legal property,
Okay, gotcha.
or there's one other one here.
So it doesn't say or.
We mentioned
Does it?
business.
Or who are representatives of businesses located in Gainesville.
So should there be an or between legal residents of the city or who own real property?
Well, it's a series, and so after Gainesville, that comma after Gainesville where it says or,
Uh-huh.
that completes the series. So that or applies to all three of those.
Okay, okay.
series.
How do we feel about, and we'd have to work to find the wording of it, because I don't want to expand it to the entire Alachua County, but let's think about people that live out by Buchholz High School. That's Gainesville, but it's county.
If they can't vote in city elections, they shouldn't be on the,
But they
Or-
have GPD interactions, though. And also,
do they? Is that,
well, I mean, they live in Gainesville. You can pull out of your neighborhood that's considered the county, turn onto one road that is ASO, get a quarter mile up the road now, and you're in GPD.
I think it gets into a little bit of a gray area.
But, and when I worked for WCA, believe it or not, and I heard Latrell Simmons say this also, you could have a city or county commission meeting and wake up in either or than what you went to bed in. So,
True. I mean, it could change.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally overnight. But when
So
I
you
worked,
could be a member of this board today and not tomorrow.
exactly, exactly.
But this just provides the structure for the guideline, I think, more than anything.
So, how could we word that if we were to go down that road?
Who are you trying to include?
Folks that live in the county area of Gainesville.
Area of the city of Gainesville.
do they pay city
I don't know if
taxes?
that's
Yeah,
not really a,
I think you're in the city of Gainesville. You're obviously in the county. I don't think you can be in the county. You can be in the county without being in the city. So I don't know how you could have,
well,
because if you're in the city of Gainesville, you are under the jurisdiction of Gainesville Police Department.
right.
And I assume Alachua County Sheriff will come in. They have jurisdiction.
Right,
of both
yeah,
counties.
they can come
State
in.
police can come in,
Right.
just one question. Just like we can run, Gainesville Police can run on I-75.
Right. Is that in the ordinance or is it,
There are ordinance.
residency? You know?
I can't remember right now, to be honest with you.
I definitely think they should, only if they can vote for city
Well,
officers, like the commission.
well, we've had, I want to say 3 or 4 people turned away because they don't live in the right part of town.
I've had a lot of people turned away because they didn't want them on here. I mean, I didn't know that about Buchholz.
Yeah, I mean, even you get past the bridge on Newberry Road, that's actually get past the bridge at any point in Archer Road as well, it's county. So,
Can they vote for city commission?
no, I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so.
And there's pockets, like,
Yeah,
Well,
like
what
swag area.
right.
Yeah.
What I was getting at about WCA is, there's literally, you go in this, a whole neighborhood, and there's a cul-de-sac that belongs to the county, and the rest of the neighborhood is city.
Yeah.
And they just, for whatever reason, they do these small annexations wherever they see fit, for whatever reason.
When they do that, then they're illegal.
I think it could be a legal issue. I mean, I think it's something somebody above us needs to decide. I'd be happy for
That's why I
anybody
wanted
to
to know if it
serve.
was in the ordinance. If it's in the ordinance, then we can't touch it. That would have to,
I'm looking,
the commission would have to.
This doesn't give membership specifically. I'm looking at city commission because we have fall in line without a.
Well, the actual city commission, and here's another reason why I brought it up, is because some boards have a residency requirement and some boards don't.
Ours has a residency requirement.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not anything that would be in the bylaws, that would be in the ordinance? Most likely?
That's how the board is set up, and the clerk of the commission is the one that
Structures.
fields
Okay.
everything, all of this. I don't.
Okay. So it's out of our hands, that being said.
Should we just ask someone?
Well, I don't want to ask somebody if we really don't want to go down that pipe, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it because, like I said, I've seen people get turned away. You know, if you live in Gainesville, you live in Gainesville. That's how I feel about it. I understand the lines and whatnot, but if you live in Gainesville, the chances of getting pulled over by ASO or GPD is equal because you're crossing the lines all day long. You know, especially someone like me, I drive for a living, so
Right.
I'm in and out of the counties, whatever.
So who should we ask?
Kristen Bryant and the clerk of the commission. And that would, since he's the chair of the committee, either him or
Okay.
Nor would need to address, ask.
Is that something that we may possibly be interested in?
I'm interested in anyone who wants to serve. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's not like you're getting full course meals when you come. Like if somebody wants to do it, and there's
So
no,
what's the question you're asking? Is there
Should we
a
remove
city
the,
ordinance that precludes membership to the
oh,
council?
yes, yes. As far as what are we asking the clerk?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And if it is the city ordinance, then it would. But like I said, I don't know how they could even word that to keep people that maybe live in Newberry.
right.
Right.
You know, it's a tough way. You kind of can't. That's why I said the people that live in Gainesville but in the county, if that makes any sense. They have a Gainesville address, but
If I craft the question and then pull out the piece from the bylaws to add to it, is that something you can send to that person?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll do it that way.
and maybe that's how it needs to be worded, just simple, plain as having a Gainesville address.
Right.
Because having a Gainesville address and living in the city of Gainesville are kind of two different things. We're living in the city limits of Gainesville.
Right. Okay.
Though that goes out pretty far. I have a friend that lives,
Oh yeah, it goes all the way up to, GPD actually goes almost to La Crosse.
yeah, I mean, I have a friend that lives, that we have a meeting once a month, that lives almost to Williston, and he has a Gainesville address.
Yeah, I think it ends on, what is it, Walker Hoover Road? think.
I'm not geography inclined.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, Walker Road.
I think that's where it ends at, Walker Road.
If Sinai Current was here, she wouldn't be able.
She lives out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is that it for the first page?
Yeah, I'm now on page 4,
No.
just with my questions.
What was your next one?
Shoot, this mask is blurring my 7. To meet, again, it says to meet and confer as a committee with the city commission, city manager, and police department personnel. Do we want city manager in there, since we're adding that?
Yeah, we're going at all points of reference for
Okay, because,
leadership.
It is in there now, right?
yes, because I mean, confer, I've never conferred with her on this issue, but maybe the chair or co-chair does. Okay. And I'm still bothered by the 8A, the new 8. Oh, no, not that one. I'm not going to incur any expensive.
I was wondering.
I mean, I don't know, what expenses would we incur, like making the
Like-
flyer?
Like right now,
Right now.
Lincoln Middle School's wanting to charge us $644 just
Are
to
you
use their
serious?
I say
facility.
no. Forget it. That's ridiculous.
I'm trying to get Chief Jones to talk to them to waive that fee.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I've got the rental contract, I've got it waiting on a door to sign, but I can't get the fee.
There must be another place in that area.
Well,
It's too late.
it's too late. It's already public notice.
Notice.
Right.
Because, I mean, the city of Gainesville owns enough community centers in the future that surely that
Well,
fee
we
can be
never
waived.
anticipated them coming back, wanting rent.
Yeah.
University of Florida, any programs my husband puts on for the oral history program, unless that space is a co-chair or co-sponsor,
Right,
they have to pay.
sure.
It's like,
Well, if you rent space in the student union, I know we're getting off here a little bit. The student union is run as an auxiliary operation, so they're not given any outside money.
right.
So if you're not sponsored by a student organization, then you have to pay for the rent of the space.
Is their principal the one that makes that decision? I might be.
I can forward you the email to the person, it's his advice assistant principal also. That's it'd be a rental agreement, embark or something like that.
Happy to sign an agreement without paying,
Yeah. They waived it.
just wait that, goodness.
Yeah.
Did they explain why they were?
That's their standard thing because they're bringing in custodial staff to set up like the chairs and things like that. So they're probably charging for their time, their labor after hours.
Yeah, plus profit.
Yeah.
Because
They're
we
not-
end up setting
They're
up-
not making that much overtime.
Right, highest profit.
Also, another thing, another example would be, you know how we table at career fairs for the city of Gainesville? Your tablecloth, your brochures, and everything, literature and things like that costs.
Right, but that's not us as individual committee members are not incurring that. Okay, so, because as members of the PAC, we're not going to be incurring any expenses. So on 8C, should have brought my other glasses. It looks like the "and" is just an extra word that shouldn't be in there. Because then you get to D. Unless something is left off somewhere. Unless the "and" goes to D. to say it's another thing, but I don't think it's necessary.
Well, we did that up on number 7 as well. 7C has the and.
I would say just strike.
Okay. I guess there's like a little plus or something.
Please. Okay.
So on 7-1, said notice shall be posted at the City of Gainesville municipal offices, but it's also on the website, right? So should that be added? Because that's where I get my board information.
What line was that, Sheila?
7-1, the next to last line, said notice shall be posted at the City of Gainesville municipal offices.
And on the, which website?
Just the,
With the clerk of the commissions.
The clerk
notice
of the
meetings.
commissions. Commission, or commissions?
Commission.
Commission.
getting cataract surgery, those drops make my eyes blurry. I'm like, do I have to do this 4 times a day? So my next one is Article 10, 1 about the quorum. So we did workshops. The meetings weren't rescheduled necessarily. We did it as a workshop. We didn't take any votes. Should we add that, or, because most meetings weren't rescheduled. We just said, we'll have it as a workshop, police chief will give us info.
Well, we actually found out we weren't allowed to do that. Isn't that correct, Evan? That we weren't allowed to not have quorum and turn it into a workshop at last minute?
Right.
Oh, for real?
So you just
Oh.
can't meet if you don't have quorum.
Yeah, we just can't be.
Okay. Oh. Okay, the voting on 3, those in-person attendance, we talked about that last time. So to vote, you have to be in person, you can't Zoom in.
Correct.
I think that's fair. But they can vote on these bylaws via Zoom. Okay. That's all I got.
I guess maybe one question. Was that Sergeant at Arms question?
Oh, yes.
It's recommended that we added Sergeant at Arms. You know, the more I read through all this stuff, the chair can serve as a Sergeant at Arms. You know, I just don't know that we need to add a whole section on Sergeant at Arms.
I agree.
We've had meetings that have been well behaved. Nothing's got out of control.
Well,
If it does, then the chair has
It's-
some action they can take.
Some meetings have been, yeah.
and back to kind of following suit of the commission, the mayor served as sergeant at arms, correct?
So I think putting section.
I'm fine with that.
I like less bureaucracy.
Well, and you also may not have a personality on the board at the time. You have to keep in consideration that this is for future boards as well. You may not have a personality on there that wants to be sergeant at arms. You know? So then, what happens? So,
So we're done?
it's-
We're gonna send it up?
I'm happy to clean all those things up. We still have to ask that question.
Yeah.
About the manager?
No, the Gainesville address.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is there a city ordinance that precludes membership, you know, where you live and all that kind of thing? I'll craft the question and get that answer.
Well, it's gonna have to be clear what the parameters are too.
But if that's clear and we're in line,
Well, if it's a Gainesville address, but they're not serviced by GPD.
is there a Gainesville address?
I don't know. My friend that's all the way out Williston, almost
City
to
of
Williston,
Gainesville?
he gets it says Gainesville on his mail.
But
Yeah.
you probably get services from the county.
Yeah.
Right,
Got that.
so how would you,
Well, that was the question. Should that person be allowed on the board or should they not?
he's a big troublemaker, we wouldn't want him,
Well,
but.
not him specifically.
Right.
If you call him a troublemaker, he's a troublemaker.
He is a Vietnam vet. He may have gotten all his, you know what, and vinegar out, but I don't think so.
Yeah. So we need to answer that question first.
Right, like what would be, you wouldn't want to do it where this cutoff point is here. That's
Right.
very cumbersome.
But we could bring it to the May meeting.
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe, I was thinking that, maybe it covers that
Have
question.
you, at the meeting, just kind of go through everything?
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
But you are going to get the answer first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it may already be written, they may not want to change it.
I know a lot of people who can't vote in the city of Gainesville but consider themselves Gainesville residents. That's why I asked if it was a voting thing.
Well, and that was one of the big issues with surrounding GRUs, that
Yeah,
customers that are serviced by GRU can't vote in city elections that
Right.
impact
Right. Yeah.
rates.
Greatly, yeah.
So, and I would like for us to be the change agent. You know, that's one of the reasons why the board was started. So that's, I mean, changing who can vote for GRU is kind of tough, but who can have who can have say as far as, you know, sitting at this table and discussing GPD.
Yeah.
That's a small thing.
And even if the word comes back, no, that's not possible, they still need to come here and they have a say.
Right.
for 3
And they have-
minutes.
Right.
Yeah, they have a podium to be able to at least say something.
Right. Absolutely. So,
But that 3 minutes can have an impact.
Hmm.
I've heard of a 3-minute talk that made me think about things.
the county just got rid of phone call fees. All of a few people.
Thank
thinking
you.
about-
I worked on it for a year and a half.
Yeah, so,
A lot of lobbying. I think there was a lot of, I know the people who helped, the county commissioners helped push us through were shocked. They were making $350,000 a year. $350,000 on the backs of people calling in. Awful.
Do you want to ask for citizen comment?
oh, yes. Do we have any citizen comment for any thing that was discussed today?
I do. Do I have to come to the podium? Okay, yes. I'm barely taller than the podium.
We've seen shorter.
I'm just kidding. So first, thank you so much for allowing me to come every week. I appreciate and value the mission and objective of this board. And I do believe that there's a fiduciary duty of care to ensure transparency and accountability, equity, and trust in the relationship. I had a couple of questions. Before I start with my question, Santa Fe College we do welcome a lot of meetings and board meetings, so if you are looking for someone that won't cost you $600, I'm sure Santa Fe College, Chief and Commissioner Ed Book is there. We just held a symposium on Friday with multiple GPD members, so that's something that happens pretty frequently. And I've spoken with Chief Inspector Jamie Kernick, Officer Tony Jones, Diamond Smith from the BOLD program, and all of them I've been speaking to lately about symposium and events, and they're great. So my questions, first, I appreciate you bringing up inequity, or potential inequity in terms of voting. I wonder if there's language you can add, such as within 10 to 15 miles in either direction of the city limits. That would be more specific, and then people could look and see. I don't know if that's helpful, but maybe. And then secondly, I wanted to address the member appointment from Article 5 for membership. So it does say that it gets appointed by commissioners, but I guess I relate it to a job application. Everyone is a name on a piece of paper, but you still have job applications so that you can get to know the people that are applying. And so I wonder, and forgive my ignorance, I don't know the official proceedings, but I wonder if there's a way that the commission can have input and say, we've seen this person attend the meetings, they've provided valuable input, and work with the commissioners to make a good choice. Because at the end of the day, this is a commission that y'all are a part of that the commissioners aren't, per se. And you're going to have to work beside these people and ensure that their heart's in it and that they want to provide a kind environment, that they want to be a change maker. So I wonder if there's language that you can add or a policy that you can implement so that you can provide feedback to the commission about people that you've encountered in your meetings. Because that way you can assure that the person that is joining your team has their heart in the right place, and you're not just accepting anyone who puts their application in. Because in essence, you may have someone with 10 years experience that doesn't have a good bedside manner or good intentions, but you may have someone with 2 years experience that may not have all of the experience but has the heart and the drive and the passion. And so that would be, just as we have job interviews, I wonder if that's something that can be added. So.
Be happy to respond to that a little bit.
Sure.
So I've been through the process a couple of times when it was originally set up in 2010 and then sort of rebooted this past couple of years. And I've always applied. In both cases, I went to the city commission meeting and they asked me questions. So I came up to the podium and they asked me a plethora of questions, if you will. So what I was able to put on the paper was one thing, but what I was able to say verbally was another. I think there's a hesitancy, I would think there's a hesitancy, if I knew a city commissioner really well and I said, hey, I've got Fareed over here, he needs to be on the council. And the commissioner really speaks up Fareed at a commission meeting and gets him on there. Now we're stacking the council based on the people that I want. And you've got to be very careful with that. So then there's a sunshine issue involved. So I think they're trying to find a balance between the two by allowing an applicant to do the paper piece, come to a meeting, because they can be invited to that meeting, speak before the commission, answer questions if they're asked, versus sort of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And I believe in the sunshine laws 100% because it does allow for transparency and accountability. But that's why I was recommending that you work with commission. Because, again, I've seen firsthand in politics from family members who are involved in politics how you can put on a really good, front when you are presented with questions. But that doesn't necessarily show drive or purpose or intention.
It would be nice, perhaps, for instance, if the application included a line that said, recommended by.
And maybe that would be, yeah.
That's all that may be necessary. I don't know.
Sure. I just wanted to put it out there. I just wanted to put it out there because I've definitely known people in politics personally and professionally that could have benefited from that. And I would hate to discredit people that are really, really applicable, but may not have the same tenure as someone who is older than them.
Yeah.
And so to ensure a diverse pool, to ensure that you have people that you want to work beside, it felt important to say. So.
Do you want to apply?
I did apply.
Oh, you did?
I applied a couple months ago, and then they reopened the applications.
Why did they, do you know why they reopened it?
Kristen Bryant said that there just weren't enough applications. I think there were 2 applications in total. I was one of them, and then they opened it up until May. But I did apply. Most of my background's in human resources, but I've done a lot of specialized training in civil discourse, in ethics, philosophy, and particularly in police issues. You know, I competed in nationals for multiple competitions where a lot of the cases were on guardian versus warrior training and a lot of police reform issues and training issues. And so that's something that's always been really close to me. My grandfather was a Florida senator. My stepdad was a judge here in Florida. So I've been in politics and seen these issues firsthand. So.
And to your point about I'll go back about residency and
Sure.
your point about the application being closed and then reopened. That's happened, what, 3 or 4 times now? Because I know, like when Khalid applied, the other 2 people that applied with him lived in the county. I think one lived off of Fort Clark Boulevard, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, which is still Gainesville, but
Yeah,
the county.
county, not the city limits,
It's not the city limits, but,
but we think of it as the city.
right, but we still think of it
Yeah.
as Gainesville. So, thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear all your experiences on the next officer.
Thanks.
Was there any other public comment, Mr. Shepard?
My name is John Shepard. I'm People's Representative. As People's Representative, that's the reason why I'm here. I'm an ex-police officer in Rochester, New York, and there's nothing as far as a police officer's experience that I don't know. I have many resumes that have this information on, and I have many reformed people that have backed me in my time of duty. I tried to run for mayor of the city of Gainesville. I tried to run for different boards, never got accepted. I'd like to be on this board because this here is on our police and fire meeting, and this is where my heart beats, along with representing the people. And as a people's representative, there's a lot of wrong going on in this city that needs to be corrected, and we're working on it as we speak. We got a meeting in Tallahassee last week that was a great big bang. As far as our unions go, we are working with that issue, and we are working with the GRU issue very dominant. And you know, I am a Republican, and I don't operate as just a Republican. I operate as a people's representative. That means Democrats and Republicans. And as that voice and line, that this here meeting is a desperate meeting for us to keep going. So thank you and for all you do, and keep doing what you do.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard, and thank you for your interest. That'll be left in the hands of the commission. So, we all wish you the best of luck.
Well, you don't want to hear my opinion about the commission, so I'm going to leave that go. But I think that we have what I call baby steps towards these programs, and we're going to come ahead. So thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. With that being said, is there any member comments? Well, we can adjourn.
All right.